What I want to share today in this beautiful moment of now is about the power of breaking cycles. This is something for me I would notice, and maybe this is the inner nerd in me. From a human design perspective, my personality sun gate is gate 24, which is basically all about revisiting, refining, going back, understanding the inner workings, and emerging out the other side with clarity. And when I started to notice that there were certain parallels of cycles, call it kind of an interesting synchronicity. It's like, haven't I been through this before? Or do I feel like I keep entertaining the same type of friend, or I'm in the same type of relationship? There's some sort of pattern or cycle that starts to emerge. And for me, it began to be really frustrating because I didn't understand why these things kept coming up, why I was basically on the merry-go-round and going around and around. And it wasn't something consciously that I was choosing necessarily. I noticed a pattern with friends that I would be with friends who basically did not want or have a sense of taking responsibility for their emotions, and instead would just kind of dump all over me and then seek my guidance or help to resolve their challenges. And we just kind of kept going in this cycle. Why does this keep happening? Why do I keep having friends in my life that do this, or, people in my life that do this? What is going on? So I started to ask for help. I started asking my guides. And as I always share, our guides are here, ready, willing, able. I mean, for lack of better words, I think I've said this before, like chomping at the bit, just like dying, like put me in, coach. Hook me up. And we instead, no, it's fine. Or we'll ask. And then we're like, nah, like that was too easy. Right. I received the information and suddenly it's like, that was way too easy. No way. No way. Nah, I'm good. I'll figure it out. And we keep going and going, right? And keep revisiting and revisiting. And we all know the power of fear. Fear seems to be the crippling thing for us as humans. If something is tied to fear, there is pretty much nothing that's happening, going to be done, going to be counteracted in a sense that we're in a state of fear. So it really is and can be a barrier that's almost unbreakable. Fear acts kind of like a record player. It's the thing that gets trapped on repeat that you don't want to hear. It's like the song that just never ends, right? And you're like, please, for the love, just make it stop. But it doesn't stop. It just keeps going and going and going. So imagine your fear becomes this record player. It goes on to the record itself, and it just keeps going around and around and playing and playing. And when I made the correlation that the thing that I keep experiencing is tied to a fear that I keep replaying on a record over and over and over, until I saw this little pathway, couldn't figure it out. And the minute that my guides had introduced this idea that basically the fear that you have is what causes things to repeat, because that is actually what's manifesting, if you will. That's the thing that's calling this experience into your experience or into your reality over and over and over. Oftentimes, it's a fear of failure. Failure for yourself, failure on the behalf of someone else. Maybe it's someone else and your fear of what they think or what they're going to do if they know this thing. I'm telling you, fear. It's quite a beast. And we take this fear. So let's say my fear is failure. I just don't want to fail. I don't want others to see me fail. So I kind of take it and I cram it in my heart and I bury it. I like push it down so far that I'm like, okay, if I push it down far enough, no one will see it. It won't exist, but it's always there, like festering. The fear fester, right? And you're telling yourself, it's fine. I'm good. I believe that I'm amazing. I don't care if I fail. It's fine. You start telling yourself all the different failure like quotes and you're like feeling good. But deep, deep down inside, there's just this little glimmer, this little fester of a fear. I will share something powerful with you. That the repetition of this thing that keeps emerging is not actually a curse. It's not. It's also not an inevitable fate. Instead, it is a powerful yet unconscious act of creation. Is that wild or what? This actually shows you how powerful you are. And I know it might sound terrible and horrible and like, Lavender, what are you saying? But I'm serious. Think about it for a moment. This thing that you have kept and maintained and festered, you've kept nice and irritated, buried in your heart, keeps manifesting things in your experience. They're not the things you want, because what we should not focus on are the things that we are not looking for. We should not be focusing or telling ourselves, okay, I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. Because imagine it's kind of like feeding. You're feeding that fear. If you want the blue pill, you don't want the red pill. If instead you keep telling yourself, I want the blue pill. I want the blue pill. The blue pill is wonderful. It's amazing. It's fantastic. And instead you're telling yourself, I don't want the red pill. I'll take whatever pill. I don't even care. It could be blue. That's fine. I mean, blue's my preference. But red, can't have the red. Red's terrible. Red's, ugh, gross. And you keep focusing on red. What happens? You end up getting red because you've been feeding it your thoughts. Every single thought you have about it is energy. See it that way. You're depositing, even if it's a half cent each single time that you think about it, you continue to deposit, and then through compounding, it's getting bigger and bigger, and it's festering and continuing, and it's getting more and more beastly to the point where you can feel it now even more. And so now you're trying to counteract it. You're trying to like, okay, focus. Don't think about the red pill. Oh, I just thought about it. Okay, red pill. Oh, dang it. No, blue pill. And you start getting into this narrative. It seems never ending, but this shows you how powerful you are, my friend. This shows you that whatever you focus on is what comes into your existence. And not only that, what you hold in your heart, whether that is fear or that is faith, is the thing that comes alive. You give it life. You create it. So please know and take a moment to honestly be in reverence for the power of how you can create. You can say it out loud. We are creating the thing that we don't want. Okay. We have understood that. And now this is where we can go back to the drawing board and say, you know what? I have decided I do not want that red pill and I do not want to think about the red pill anymore. And this is where we come to that most give up. I will be honest. I have given up at this juncture. I don't know how many times, because what I don't do in these cases is I am focusing so intensely on force instead of on flow. How do we do that? We invite the fear to the table. So going back to my example, my fear is failure. I invite it to the table. And this is a true story. What would happen if I failed? Okay, people could make fun of me. People would not choose me. People would judge me. Sure. What if I succeeded? Well, then everything would be great. Right? Where does this fear come from? I've had it for a long time. I think I've had it since childhood. Because if I failed, I was nothing. If I didn't do it, I was a poor excuse for a human. And also, if I failed, I was not recognizable by my parents. I was not someone to be celebrated by my teachers. I was not someone who my friends would want to be friends with. These are serious ultimatums. But let's also see, in this exact example, the birth, if you will, of this fear was when I was about 7 or 8 years old. And yet here I am. And this happened here when I was 40 and then turning now into 41. So imagine I'm 40 years old and I'm holding on to a fear that I've had since I was 8 years old. Is that even applicable anymore? Or you're kind of like, okay. And for me, I don't have my parents even in my life anymore. And this is by choice, but they're not part of my experience. Those friends that I had when I was 8 don't even exist in my life anymore. Teachers, I mean, what was I in? 5th grade? I don't know. 3rd grade? Somewhere in there? Do I still have that teacher? No. Am I still doing that coursework? No. Do I still live in the same house? No. So what's the same? Only the fear. And even if I were to give a more recent example of something, the situation, the gravity of what I care about, what I focus on, what's important, it could be different. Things have changed. Maybe I'm not in that job anymore, or I'm not wanting that end goal anymore, or I'm not seeking that kind of relationship anymore. Something has changed. Because the only constant in life is change. Everything changes. So when we start to get to the bottom of understanding the fear, treating the fear, and this is the way I see it, as a being, as a living being. Okay, your feelings are hurt. You feel like you don't want to fail. Well, how possible is it to fail? Why don't you want to fail? What are some positive things of failure? You could learn, because obviously if you don't want to fail, you might not take risks. And if we don't take risks, we don't grow. We kind of stay in the same spot. If we start to ask and inquire and more deeply seek to understand, and this is a philosophy, if you will, that I've had for a long time. I'll put in the show notes an article that I actually wrote on Substack about the exact story and the origination of where this came from. It came from one of the worst bosses I've ever had in my life. See, sometimes the worst things can bring the largest and biggest blessings. But my core philosophy in life is seek to understand before being understood. And my friends, this is what is needed in this exact moment. Is how can I seek to understand before I'm understood, before I get to me? Let's get to what this fear is, where it's from, where it originated from, how it grew into or festered into its infancy, and then how I've fed it over time. Is it even still relevant? Is it even something I even believe? Or is it that constant record playing that's in the back that keeps it alive, keeps it festering, and I kind of bury it in my heart because I don't want to hear it anymore because I've heard it for obviously a long time, over 30 years. It's just been playing, right? So I need to take a moment to seek to understand, because I will say this is a true story. I kept hitting a wall and it kept getting more and more frustrating because I'm like, what the heck? Why is this so hard? This is so unnecessary. It was an indicator to look at it. It was a invitation to take a moment to say, what is this thing? Let's put on our curiosity cap. What can we then be a detective, be a junior detective, get in there? What's going on? And not from a place of judgment, because it doesn't matter. In the end, y'all, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you've had it since you were 8 years old or 18 or 88. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It exists. It happened. It was birthed. And the problem is that our fear that it became, that it festered, we then fed it with our thoughts and our beliefs. And we kept feeding it and feeding it. And this is actually, and I'll talk about this in another message soon, that this is actually what a energetic appendage, a possession, an infiltration is. There is no such thing as involuntary possession. We cannot just be possessed by someone, something, what have you. We cannot. We have free will. That's how this planet operates. So what does this mean? That the things that we believe are possessions, are things that have taken over us or energetically interfering with us, are actually our own self-fed beliefs, our own self-fed fears. That's what they are. So this fear that I hosted since I was 8, that I was going to fail, that I am a failure, that I do fail, I fed that since I was 8 years old. Here's the beautiful thing, the absolutely liberating solution. If we can will difficulty, we can just as powerfully will peace. We can. Again, going back to what I said earlier, you should be in awe at what you've been able to create. It's not what you want. We can agree with that. Okay. No problem. We have determined very clearly what we don't want. That's okay. Let me write that down. But you have created that. You have willed that into existence. But here's another beautiful thing, that there is always an invitation. The world is presenting you constantly with millions, if not billions, if not trillions or more of options, choices, changes, improvements, deviations, backroads. And the other beautiful truth is that you can change anything at any moment for any reason. And when we make a change vibrationally, this would be a vibrational change. We are choosing to ascend. We are choosing to understand, invite this fear to the table, understand what it is, set it free. For me, thank you for helping to try to protect my integrity so that I wouldn't be laughed at for failing. I'm at a position now where I'm okay if I fail, because failure means I'm trying. Failure means I'm testing. And by golly, this might mean that I choose something or discover something or uncover something that no one else has because of their fears. And if I can be the way shower here, then amazing. And if I have someone in my life who feels that I'm a failure, then this might be the opportunity for me to open up consideration for why do I have this individual in my life? Maybe they've stayed way past their contract. Maybe it's at a point where things have changed, I have evolved, and it's time to clear things out, clear things up. And then we release it. We thank it and we release it. Thank you for everything you've done. I very much appreciate it. I am now okay. I do not need to have that fear anymore, and I set you free. I send you back to the light. And what happens in this exact moment, y'all, is that instantly, I mean instantly, everything has changed. You have ascended to a higher level. You have. Completely. That's how this works. That's how these vibrational levels work. So what does this mean? That we can change everything, anything, instantly, right now. And it's only our beliefs, which often are tied to fears, that are holding us back from believing that, holding us back from setting it free, releasing it, and being on to the next. But if we do believe this, guess what this does? It breaks the cycle. And it breaks the cycle instantly. Instant change. It is entirely possible. The past only has the power that we give it in any single potent moment of now. If we release it, it doesn't have it anymore. And just like anything, imagine a plant that you're watering every day. You're watering this with your thoughts. You're watering this fear. Every single thought you have around it, watering, watering, feeding, watering, watering. The minute you say, that's it, I set you free, you instantly stop watering it. What will happen? It will die. That's another law of the universe. It will not somehow, grow 10 legs and suddenly figure it out. No, it stops right there. Now, granted, we can all acknowledge that a plant, it might take it a couple days to start appearing like it's dead. You see the leaves starting to turn brown or kind of starts to wilt or, right? You start to see these signals, but that doesn't happen the minute you stop watering it, does it? No. It takes a minute, right? It takes a few minutes. It takes a little bit, depending on what kind of plant it is and the environment and all those fun things. But the minute you stop choosing to water it, you are setting it on its path to its passing. That's how this works. Vibrationally, done. You're fully kind of ascending into that vibration. It might take a moment. It might take, whatever. But the decision is done. The thing has been set free. And so have you. So allow me to leave you with this beautiful quote from my guides that are speaking about this exact thing that helped set me free and realize that I'm the only one that holds on to the things that hurt me. I am. Things around me can hurt me. That's part of experience. If we ask for support and ask for help, we might receive something that will make it a little less painful or a little less icky. But those things are about experiences. But we are in control of how we feel about those experiences. Whether we fully believe it or not, we are. So as my guides shared, everything is done in the moment of now. Everything. There is no past. There is no future. There is hope. There is possibility. There is choice. You, my friend, have a choice in this beautiful moment of now. Always. Allow the fears to come to you, sitting at the table, Put on the curiosity cap. See how you can be inquisitive to understand, seek to understand this fear. Thank it for its time, release it, send it back to the light. Make the choice. It's all up to you. Because in the present moment of now is where all creation happens.